What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about how you can turn your internship into a full-time job or a full-time offer. So this is something that I've been through, something that I have done, where you can have an internship and then at the end of the day you get offered a full-time offer for when you graduate, or if you're about to graduate you can start like pretty much like the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months. So you have to think about internships in a way that the employer is trying to see if you can be a good fit for the company, and you're also trying to see if the company is a good fit for you, right? So it goes both ways. So that is a great way to look at internships. That is going to give you kind of like a different mindset going into it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And the first thing is going to be making a good impression. So this sounds obvious, but a lot of people fail to do this. All right, so one of the main things that a lot of people fail to do is ask about the dress code. If you go work into corporate America, the dress code can be, business professional. It could be business casual. And there is a huge difference between those two. So you always want to ask what the dress code is. Or if you ask and they don't get back to you in time, always go for business professional. That is how you make a good impression. So it's better to be overdressed than to be underdressed. So if you show up and you have, your suit and tie, and you're ready to go, and everybody has business casual. They got polos and they got dress pants. Now you're overdressed. It's better than showing up in some jeans and a t-shirt. If it is your first day and everyone is seeing you for the first time and you're overdressed, that's going to leave a good impression on the people. And that also goes into, when you show up, maybe you're waiting at the front desk or the reception, talk to the person that's on there. But the most important thing is going to be dressing really well. And always remember that it is better to be overdressed than underdressed, and also smile and say hi and talk to people. So let's say you meet your manager now and he's telling you some of the things you're going to be responsible for doing, some of the expectations that he has for you or she has for you. So one of the main things you want to do is set your own expectations as well, and also establish your goals, right? So goals are going to be things that you hope to take away from the internship. So here's a good example. When I was doing my financial analyst internship, one of the things that the manager I was working with asked me was, what would you like to focus on? And I had never been asked that question before, so I was a little confused as to what he was asking. So he went ahead and said, well, this is obviously a finance internship, but what do you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on, building models, or do you want to focus on actually working with the models that are already built? He just gave me a lot of options on things that I could really focus on. And that didn't mean that I was not going to be able to do all the other things. I would still be able to do all the things, but I would have one thing that I would focus on. So if he was to give me a project, it would be heavily focused on what I wanted to learn, which was building models. So that was one of my goals that I set for that internship. And then when it comes to expectations, you have to, get clarification on certain things. If you're about to work on a project, you can ask, when is the due date? Would you like updates, at the end of the day, every day, or at the end of the week? And also expectations are specific to a person. Maybe you have, certain expectations that, that you value and you like your manager to know. Go ahead and tell him or her what you expect to learn. So a good example of expectations would be communication. Ask, what's the best way of communicating? Let's say you're at home, you're working on a project and you're stuck. And can you call them? Do you have to email? What can you do? So that is an expectation right there. So that was my expectation when I did one of my internships. I wanted to know that if I was going to be working on a project on the weekend, which is going to be due on Monday, and I'm stuck, I want to be able to communicate with you. What is the best way to reach you? What time? So you kind of like want to set those expectations so there isn't really any confusion later on. All right, so now that you have your goals and you got your expectations, the next thing is going to be actually showing that you can do the work, right? You have to show a strong work ethic. If you have to work longer hours, go ahead and do it, and always have passion, right? I can imagine if you're having an internship in a certain field, it's something that you're passionate about or something you want to do after college. And if you are hoping to get a full-time job, it better be something that you really, really want to do, right? Because you're going to be doing that for most of your life. So you have to have a passion. When you have passion, then you're going to work really hard to make sure that things are complete. You're meeting all your goals. You're meeting all your expectations. So you have to show a strong work ethic. All right. So showing a strong work ethic comes with being proactive, which is the next one. So you have to be proactive about certain things. So this is something that's really important, because I've seen a lot of people that go into their jobs as interns, and then they work on, let's say they're working on a Microsoft Excel model, and then they notice that something's wrong with it, but then they just choose to ignore it because, it's not their job, it's not their full-time job, and they don't really understand what's wrong with it, and then they just choose to ignore it, and later on it comes back to bite them. So you always want to be proactive about things you don't understand or things you don't know. Always ask questions. That is, being proactive is part of asking a lot of questions. And this shows that you really, really do want to learn if you're asking questions, right? Let's say you get an assignment, you get a project. You want to be able to, understand to the fullest, right? And most of the time, you should carry a notebook, right? If you ask a question, write it down so you don't have to ask the same question next time. If you write the answer down, you can always refer back to it. So you have to be proactive about, everything really that you don't understand or anything that you have questions on. And the next one is going to be how much you're willing to learn and improve. So if you are being proactive and you're asking all these questions and writing them down in a notebook where they can see you physically writing the answer down, or saying, could you repeat that so I could write it down? That shows that you're willing to learn, right? And that is only one part, right? Let's say you're learning all these things, you're going to meetings, you're learning things, you're taking notes. You have to apply those things by improving on what you were doing. So let's say you worked on a project and then your manager gives you feedback, or these are the things you could have improved. These are the things that you could have done a different way or an easier way or a faster way. And you have to write those things down somewhere where you can always reference back to them, because the next time you get a project and you make the same mistakes, it shows that you're not improving. You're not really wanting to learn. That's what it shows. It might not be that, but that is what it looks like. That is what it shows. So you have to be able to write those things down. And when you're working on your next project, read those notes, read the things you messed up on the first project, and now improve the project that you're working on right now. And that shows that you're willing to learn and you're willing to improve. And the next one is going to be networking. You don't have to know their address or, their families and stuff like that. This could be something as simple as saying good morning, or asking what department do you work in, or asking what do you do, because people love talking about themselves and what they do and what they love doing. So if you just ask them, what do you do? Do you like it? Why do you like it? How long have you been working here? Questions like that is how you network, because you never know the person you're talking to and how much influence they have in the company. And the last one is going to be that you have to be clear that you want a full-time role at the end of the internship. So this one is a little tricky because some internships will let you know that this could lead to a full-time role, and some will tell you that this does not lead to a full-time role. So those, you're not going to get a full-time role because they don't do that. But most internships lead to a full-time role, and how you perform during the internship is going to be how they decide if they want you to be full-time. And this is something that you can also set as one of your expectations or goals when you're first meeting your manager. You can ask, does this internship turn into a full-time job, or does it lead into that? And if the question is yes, or maybe, or it depends, then there's an opportunity. So you have to work really hard in order to get that offer. Most internships are going to be able to offer you a full-time role if you are someone that does all the things that I just covered. But that is pretty much it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I need to add anything else or if I missed anything. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.